installed in the vehicles and are in use. Their kitchen was renovated last month. Chief Skinner, Captain Calamari, Council President Stacy Feeney, and I attended a meeting with our counterparts from Westwood and school officials, including Dr. Mortimer, to discuss security in the schools, including the potential future use of Class 3 special law enforcement officers. More information will be provided as it becomes available. Recreation news. The basketball season is quickly approaching, and the program still has a need for volunteer coaches. Please call the rec department if you have time to contribute to this worthy cause. 2021 road program. Apart from some striping and punch list items, the paving program for this year is complete. Zoning office news. The office reviewed 20 applications during the month of November. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman DeSena? You know what? I'm sorry. Can I go? You typically go alphabetical, so.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Councilman Cassian?
Yeah, thanks. Let's see, news. I attended the League of Municipalities conference down in Atlantic City back in the beginning of November. Found out some very interesting and helpful information that we can use in town. The two big items that interest me, I met with two postal inspectors that are going to look into our local post office to try to get it operating on a more efficient basis. I'll be as kind as I can say with that issue. They assured me that if there's any problems with any postal service facility in the state of New Jersey, these two representatives handle that, and I will be in contact with them. I would ask anyone in the public that has problems with that post office in town, please email me so I can pass that information along to them. The other thing I investigated was a program in which we can use a debit card in town, and we can have that kind of like a rewards program. That rewards can go to your taxes and reduce the taxes. It's something new that they've been doing for a couple of years, and I think that would be good for the taxpayer. So maybe you can reduce your tax bill by a couple $100s every year by utilizing local merchants and online merchants. And there's a couple other things, and I'll bring that up at the future meetings. Okay, thank you.
Councilman DeSena?
Thank you. Just very quickly, Mayor Calamari, if we could just have the plastic removed off the handicap placards that were put all over town during the road repaving. It's been a month and a half. They're supposed to be removed 24 hours for liability's sake. They're still all covered. Congratulations to the fire department, new regime. I wish them well in the future. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you.
Oh, one other thing. I'm sorry, Mrs.
Okay.
Cheney.
Go ahead.
Also, Mr. Mayor, can we please have the names of all the applicants that are coming before the board, which are going to construct streets? Please reach out. Somebody please reach out to the VFW and find the names of the veterans those streets need to be named for. I just had a discussion with Mr. Sears. I know Franklin Court is in front of us. It should not be Franklin Court. It should be whatever veteran it's going to be named after that deserves it in the Township of Washington. And so does Viviano, and the rest of them need to be renamed. So I hope that gets done soon so we can name them after a veteran that deserves it. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Sears, I was just making sure. Councilman Sears?
Thank you.
Yours.
I'll just echo the mayor's comments on the menorah lighting, the two other events, and the Christmas dinners. If you please want to donate. Some people actually cried because they did not know who donated the dinner, and they were quite happy that they received the Thanksgiving dinner. So please reach out and let's give another dinner to another senior or somebody in town that you think needs it. Thank you.
Vice President Morgan?
Yep. Okay, so I think it's worth echoing, even though it sounds like a broken record, but I think it's important. To those who donated for the senior meal delivery, without the residents donating, we would definitely not be able to pull off what we did. The volunteers who helped to sort it and organize it, package it, it was really well received. When I I was going to pull it out and show you, but when I made the deliveries to the couple of people that I had, we kind of divvied up who was going to go where. Much like Mr. Sears said, some of them were so moved, so touched, they wanted to give us something. So somebody knitted a winter hat, and she was so happy to hand it to me. And I use it every day now. I use it every single day. I have it with me here. She was like, wait, I have to give you something. Really, really touched, and it made me so happy and proud to be part of something like that. So I really think it's great that we do that. I'm really happy about that. So thank you to everybody who was instrumental in making that happen. Daisy Velez and her team, beautiful job with the menorah. I'm happy to see that menorah out there. It is a statement piece, I think. And the tree lighting, absolutely beautiful. So great job as always. Superintendent of Rec and I have been working with the cheer program, trying to figure out the cost and all of the other intricacies that go along with creating a basketball season cheer program. It is still on schedule to start for next season. It'll be the first time that we've had something like that. I don't know if ever in this town, but certainly in the time that I've lived here. So I'm very, very excited about that, and there'll be more to come with that.
That's the season next month?
Next year.
Oh, next year.
Next year,
Okay.
yeah. No, there's so much work behind it that I don't want to shortchange and just throw it together. It really takes a lot of planning. That's all I have.
Ms. Feeney, may I have one more second?
Sure.
I would just like to reach out to any veteran in Bergen County or in the township. We have a electric chair that's been donated to us, and we have also a stair lift that's been donated to us, and the person would like it to go to a veteran in need. So if anybody knows of a veteran that needs a wheelchair, electric wheelchair, or a stair lift, please reach out to me and we will get it to you. Thank you, Ms. Feeney.
You're welcome. So I'm very happy to be doing the holiday meal program again with almost everybody up here. It's been a great program again. There were so many people who were thankful and said, I'm unable to see my family and I'm not cooking turkey for myself, but it's nice to have turkey. One woman said, I get to have turkey for 2 days. So she said leftovers is always the best part of Thanksgiving, so, which I thought was really nice. So there were quite a few volunteers. So we had Margot Silverman, Victoria De Virgilio, Livia De Virgilio, Michael Rinaldi, Emma Portilla, Connor Portilla, Joseph Diorio, Julia De Virgilio, Carrie De Palma, Julie Silverman, Dina Diorio, Daisy Velez, Yael Velez, Abby Velez, Margot Velez, Tom Sears, Gina De Virgilio. The mayor was there. Councilwoman Morgan was there. I was there. Councilman Sears was there. And it was really, it's nice to do the fact that this year that we had all these kids come to help to deliver the meals so they could see the impact they were making. So I just want to say thank you. And I'm looking forward to the next 2 meals we plan on doing. So again, we're not going to just be doing Christmas, but we plan on doing something for New Year's too. So again, if anybody would like to donate any money, please reach out, or would like to get a meal delivered to a neighbor or resident, please let us know. That's all I had this evening. Oh, I did want to say I was very honored to be at the Hanukkah menorah lighting, and our rabbi from Woodcliff Lake did a phenomenal job. We had a little party afterwards, which was great. A few families came. It was nice to meet them. I come from a mixed background, half and half, so it was nice to see the little party that we had, and I look forward to it next year. Next year, I think we're going to get jelly donuts and some gelt too,
Yes.
to make an addition. So.
That's where I was. I was at Hanukkah dinner eating jelly donuts and gelt. That's why I was at the light. Latkes, plenty of latkes. I was eating right out of the frying pan.
If we could eat them right out of the frying pan, I'd make them for Hanukkah.
I have a question. I hope I'm able to ask it. Mr. DeSena, of the naming of the roads, I know we talked about that, and I love the idea. I just wonder.
We have an ordinance in place.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, how's that selection process?
The VFW commander and the board of the VFW is supposed to get the names and choose them. We present it to the planning board.
We have a list of names. We took it right off the honor board out in front,
Okay,
and those are the, starting with the first one going down.
okay, great. Great.
Also, you created the list.
Every three.
Good.
Okay, general public comment, limit to 5 minutes. Motion to open the public comment.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
So, good evening. My name is Stephen Kalish. I live at 197 Honeysuckle Drive in Washington Township. My wife and I have been residents of this community for almost 30 years, and all 4 of our kids were raised here. I have 3 topics that I'd like to raise with the council this evening. First, I'd like to address the deteriorating traffic situation in the west side of town. I have been regularly listening to planning board, zoning board, and council meetings for the past 6 months. It has become clear to me that we are facing a significant traffic and safety issue along Vandenberg Avenue due to several large planned residential developments. I've been disappointed that residents' concerns about this situation are not being adequately addressed, so I took it upon myself to raise this issue to the Bergen County Planning Board at their meeting on November 9th in Hackensack. I'm not going to read my public statement from that meeting, but I've emailed a copy to each of you. Following this meeting, I've personally come to the conclusion that the town needs to take the initiative to address the traffic situation at the intersection of Washington and Vandenberg. That's where the real traffic and safety issues are going to be. I've heard several people state that there's nothing that can be done with this intersection and a normal traffic light is not feasible because of the hill. I discussed this specific issue with representatives from the county and they do not agree with this assessment. Several examples of improvements to the Washington-Vandenberg intersection could include left turn lanes from Vandenberg Avenue onto Washington Avenue, a normal traffic light with left turn arrows from Vandenberg Avenue, electronic speed signs on the Washington Avenue hill, grooves in the road on the hill to alert drivers to the coming traffic signal. At the county planning board meeting, I was told that the county would be willing to participate in evaluating and proposing improvements to this intersection, but they will not do it alone. The town needs to commit to a joint sharing agreement with the county, similar to what we did with the intersection at Pascack in Washington. I encourage the mayor and council to initiate this process now so that the intersection at Vandenberg and Washington can be improved before the new residential developments are complete. Let's not wait to get this done. We all know that the traffic situation at this intersection is a problem that's only going to get worse over time. My second topic is related to sidewalks on Vandenberg Avenue. The county planning board also made it clear to me when I met with them that even though Vandenberg and Washington Avenues are county roads, that sidewalks on these roads are the town's responsibility. I'm very concerned about future pedestrian traffic on Vandenberg Avenue from Fillmore Drive to Demarest Farms due to the recently approved Franklin Court development. Right now, there are only sidewalks along this route in Hillsdale from Langerfeld Road to Hillsdale Avenue. There are no sidewalks in Washington Township on Vandenberg between Washington and Langerfeld. Vandenberg is an extremely busy road today, and it's going to get much worse when these new developments are complete. Our residents should have a safe place to walk along this road. The county representatives indicated that state funds are often available to support installation of sidewalks. I encourage the mayor and council to make this a priority to install sidewalks on Vandenberg from Fillmore Drive to Langerfeld Road. By the way, for those who believe that there is no pedestrian traffic on this street, on this stretch of Vandenberg, I encourage you to open up Google Maps Street View and you'll see a woman walking on the street along Vandenberg because there is no sidewalk. This is a safety issue for our town. My third topic regards council deliberations. If you don't mind, I'd like to offer some constructive feedback for your consideration. I, like many others in the community, am not actively engaged in most issues before this council. I know that each of you is committed to doing what you think is best for our community. However, I am occasionally very disappointed in the process you use to deliberate issues. I'd like to cite an example from your last council meeting on November 8th to help make my point. At this meeting, the council was presented with a letter from the Township Planning Board regarding a stormwater management proposal related to the new Gorga Place development.
1 minute left, Mr. Kalish.
Thank you. I was stunned that with little discussion, the council rejected the proposal out of hand. As a minimum, I was expecting to hear a discussion about the pros and cons of the proposal with recommendations from our town engineer, the head of DPW, the applicant's representative, and the mayor. Because none of this was discussed during the public meeting, I have no idea whether the applicant's proposal would have offered any benefits to our town. I hope that in the future, the council takes a more deliberative approach in addressing these kinds of issues, hearing from both sides, discussing the benefits and risks to the town, then making an informed decision. Also, when you vote, please tell us why you are voting a particular way. Don't assume that we know your personal views or have knowledge of your past public or private discussions. Finally, if I have a few seconds left, I'd just like to congratulate Mayor Calamari and Councilman Sears on their reelection, and I'd like to thank Mr. DeSena for your many years of service to the town as a member and past leader of the council. Thank you.
Wow, you made it right on the dot. The thing was beeping as you were finishing. That was good, Mr. Kalish. Woo. Future leader there.
Everything you said, I agree with. Eric Uteritz, 15 Fillmore Drive, Washington Township, New Jersey. Didn't realize this is quite a setup here. So a couple things. One, 17-year resident of Washington Township. I do want to thank the town council members for giving me a forum to review the property at 781 Vandenberg and its continued derelict condition. In addition to the numerous emails to the town council members, I previously reviewed the issue during the live meeting on November 8th last month. During the town council meeting, I was under the impression that something was going to be done, but to date, December 6th, I have seen no improvements in the condition of the property, including the dwelling and the yard. And I would like to use the word derelict in pretty much every sentence that I continue with forward. Over the past weekend, while enjoying unseasonably pleasant December weather with my son, we once again had a soccer ball and a Frisbee go over the fence into the property in question. As it happened on November, I faced the same challenges entering this property to retrieve our stuff. In addition to dead, dying trees, along with numerous vines and that have overgrown the property into my shed and arborvitaes in the rear of my yard. Now I am spending my time cleaning my yard because of the overgrown nature of the neighboring property. All I want is for this property owner to be compelled to clean up their yard. If this is how the owner cares for their property, what assurances do town residents have that any potential future use of this land will be cared for appropriately? And just to piggyback on to Mr. Kalish's comments, Vandenberg, Washington intersection is horrible. Absolutely horrible. It's backed up with traffic every morning. I run that road almost every morning, and it is not safe to do. I shouldn't admit that, but it is not safe to do. If my wife's listening, I'm sorry, but I don't find it safe at all. No. There are no sidewalks on the property, and now we're going to put in 44 units and potentially 88 bedrooms into a property where there's no residential safe area for pedestrians to travel. It is completely not appropriate. Lastly, I do want to thank Councilperson Sears for his willingness to challenge some of the planning board, the approaches to the planning board that the developer has had. And I wish the town council would continue to push on this development because it is not appropriate for the area. Besides the fact that the owner already shows zero concern for the property, and there's no guarantee of what they're going to do for caring for the property in the future. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Julianne Lipnick, 184 Affinity Place. I guess everybody's got safety on their mind. I have to commend, that's how I'm going to start on a good note, DPW. I'm living in town 40 years. I approached them in the leaf collection. Never, ever before in 40 years. My landscaping bill for leaf collection off my property was probably a fraction because we had no blowback. It went into the street and by 48 hours it was gone. I approached Mr. Vandenberg and commended him. I thought it was unbelievable. Didn't even have to get stakes for, some fencing. And he told me that the reason why they do that is not because it's the library or the street that leads up to town, but it's one of the more narrow streets in town. As a result of that, I bring my concern. I do not care who parks on the street. That's what curbs and streets are for. But Affinity Place has become a disaster when it comes to parking. I'm asking the town, I brought it to the attention of the mayor when Ms. Velez came to my doorstep about the Christmas tree lighting. I brought it to her attention. I am asking the town to consider one side of the street parking, and also to put a sign at the top of Finnerty and Pascack, no parking within 50, 75, whatever. Because what has now happened is you cannot make a turn from Pascack onto Finnerty. My neighbor nearly had her side view mirror clipped. Then when you add the landscaping trucks, the other day, there was the truck and then his cabin, whatever you want to call it, literally blocking the street. There have been days where I come down, I can't get onto my street. I go down to Ridgewood or I go back up to Oxford and come down. It's really becoming a nightmare. Again, I don't care. I know who parks on the other side, let them, that's fine. But please do consider one side of the street parking. And I would think the best would be on the shopping center side, which also brings me to the next. Nothing really was accomplished by closing that pedestrian walkway. I'm now retired, so I'm home and I see more. You've spent money enhancing our fields. There were kids in the parking lot of the shopping center playing volleyball. You have all these parks. Why are they playing volleyball by the loading docks? Fortunately, the police did do a drive-through. They saw them and they scattered, but it's happened more than once. What's now happened, and I was the person, I got to the corner of Pascack and Finnerty, and I slammed on my brakes because they came up over the berm and just continued. When I beeped my horn, I got a salute. So that being said, I don't know what can be done. I think maybe the answer is to institute a bike safety program in town like we used to have when we were kids. Something has to be done, but it's getting more and more dangerous. So they're not going down to the loading dock gate. They can't go the pedestrian, so they're coming up on top. So that's the issue.
1 minute left, Mrs. Lipnick.
Thank you. I've listened in the past to the residents regarding the firehouse. I'm going to offer you my suggestion. I hear that you have a thought to put in an administrative protocol as far as the 200-foot list, even though town projects are exempt. I'm across from the shopping center. Granted, the players, most of them are gone, they're deceased. But when that shopping center was enhanced, we had a 200-foot list in process then. It was never adhered to. There was no 200-foot list when that shopping center was enlarged. The answer we got as residents was, oh, the builder said he was going to do everything he was supposed to do. Well, it's not the builder, it's the property owner. So to put another format in, if you can't adhere to what you already have, what's the point?
Time's up, Mrs. Lipnick.
That being said, on behalf of the residents of Washington Avenue, please consider what happened to us with the shopping center. And because of the throw of light that may affect their homes, the shopping center had to put covers on their lights. And maybe that's what you want to consider, to just protect the residents across the street. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Lipnick.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Anthony Udina. I live at 876 Ridgewood Boulevard East. I was wondering if there is an update on 450 Pascack. So if anybody has any information on that, that'd be great to share. Another thing I just wanted to say kind of thank you. I'd say thank you to basically, I live adjacent to the water detention basin that is on 450 Pascack. So when a heavy storm arises, there's an area between the school and my neighbor's property where there's a catch basin and there's the inlet to the stormwater drain system. So I've seen many times during bad storms, water accumulate there, a lot of water actually, span a huge area. Could be anywhere, like about a foot of water or whatever. And it's just a lot of water that stays there after a bad storm. And it could be there for maybe 3 to 4 days after a bad storm. So basically, recently, and it could have been because of the flooding issue at the school. I believe it was the DPW that trenched between those 2 points. And, they used heavy machinery and all. And I just want to say thank you for doing that. If it was them, I think it was them. I don't know. It's some guys in bright
Pretty sure it was that.
neon shirts or whatever. So hopefully that resolves the issue with the school, and it's just a better way to manage the water back there. That's all I have. So if you have an update on 450, that'd be great. Thank you.
Anybody else? No. Motion to close public comment.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Follow-up comments. Council Cassian?
Yeah, sure. Vandenberg has no sidewalks. It hasn't had sidewalks in ever, and I know it's dangerous to walk there because I've campaigned there many times, taking my life at my own risk. It is dangerous, and we are going to have more residents there. So again, it's something that we're probably going to have to look into. The traffic device at Washington and Vandenberg, totally inadequate. It was probably adequate back in the 1950s, maybe in the early 60s, but since the 70s, not adequate enough. And I know, Mr. Sears, we had put a blinking stop sign there years ago, thanks to you and the county, and that does need to be upgraded. There's no doubt about that. There's many things we can do, but again, you are right. The township has to initiate it, and the county would be happy to look into it because this is a county road, which is something I'm sure that this administration will look into. And I'm sure the council would definitely support that. I know I will. Regarding the unkept property at this point, another vendor I met down at the League of Municipalities, there is a firm, and I'm going to bring that up to the council another time. What they do is they enforce property maintenance ordinances at no cost to the township. They charge the homeowner, and when the homeowner does what they're supposed to, they get a fee off that. So I think that's something that we should look into, and I'll bring that information to the council at the next meeting or sometime in January, because it's something that really can't be delayed. It's a problem we've had for a long time for numerous reasons: non-enforcement, different interpretations of the ordinances. So I think that's something that we definitely can address. Other than that, the storm basin over at 450, always a problem. Everything runs downhill. Unfortunately, you're at the bottom of the hill. There's been issues there for a long time, and we have an issue with the flooding at Memorial Field because that drainage system has never been maintained since the early 70s. So that's something that has to be done. I have a picture of myself in a football uniform taken there. And if you look, it's a picture of Washington School. I'm down on the bottom. There's not one tree on that hill, not one tree. How many trees are there now? Hundreds, right? They're all over the place because it wasn't maintained. Whether it's our property or the school's property, I do not know. But I know if that wasn't maintained, I'm sure other areas are not maintained. That's causing, obviously, stormwater damage to the school and other surrounding residences. So hopefully we can get that addressed with the engineer. I'm sure the administration will definitely look into that. So I think that's where we're going to go in that direction. Other than that, I have no other rebuttal.
Thank you. Councilman DeSena?
Thank you, Council President Feeney. Mr. Kalish, thank you for your effort for going to the Bergen County Planning Board. All those costs should be borne by the applicant. All the applicants, Franklin Court, Viviano, they should all share in the, they're getting the benefits of these very large developments in our town. So those costs for that signal upgrade should all be borne by those applicants. Your remarks about Gorga Place, the only thing we discussed about Gorga Place was who is going to pay for the maintenance of the elaborate drainage system. And we did have a memo, and the council, they're also putting up $10 million homes plus, and that homeowners association is going to take care of the drainage. So that was what the discussion was about the Gorga Place drainage. Mr. Uteritz, we've had a zombie ordinance in place. We put it in place. I don't know why we can't enforce it. It baffles my mind why we can't get it done. Again, the residential site improvement standards require sidewalks on all projects. Why this town's planning board has never made applicants put sidewalks in, I don't know. My short-lived period, I didn't have any applications when I was on the planning board for the year, but all projects require sidewalks. It's a state law in the state of New Jersey. It's part of the residential site improvement standards. I know I brought it up. I was, when they were building Washington Grand, I asked, why aren't we building sidewalks there? And I was told, because we don't need them. But, the state requires that these applicants build sidewalks everywhere on all the projects. So I hope the planning board will start to look into that and start abiding by the code. Mrs. Lipnick, I'm glad the leaves are getting picked up. And Mr. Udina, yes, I saw the big pond in between the woods there. I know there was some issues that the owner has, that we went on private property to do drainage work on his property, but I know it alleviated the pond. But we did enter private property. It doesn't have an easement, so it might be an issue for the town in the future. That's all I have, Mrs. Udina.
Councilman Sears.
Thank you. Steve, thank you for going to the county. I know our frustration with getting things done up at Franklin Court. It's been hitting a wall, and I don't like to be bullied, and I think fighting for the town is a important thing for me, and I do agree that we are going to have a major problem at Vandenberg. The Franklin Court road study, traffic study, was done December the 4th during a snowstorm when all the kids were out, and they only did it from their driveway to the blinking light. And I can't see how the county could approve that traffic study. So hopefully they'll come back and revisit that traffic condition. The Gorga Place water retention system was discussed very lengthily during the planning board meeting. The gentleman decided to build 8 $1.5 million homes on the side of a hill.
Correct.
And he expected the town to pay and clean up and maintain this elaborate water system with things. And we told him, no, this would be covered by their property. So he wasn't satisfied with that. So we tried to sneak a letter into the council here and have the council override the planning board, but that didn't work. So that's back in their ballpark, Mr. Ulich, the property, I've walked that property. I've been up and down on your property. The guy, my fear is exactly what your fear is. If he's not maintaining what he has now, how is he going to maintain what they're going to be building there? So I hope the code official gets up there. I know we said that the last time. I don't know if he's been up there or not. I do see the house. I did see the 55-gallon drums that were buried in the ground along with the other power wires. So there's a concern, a big concern. Julie, thank you for acknowledging the DPW. It's funny you should say about the bicycle, because we're having our meeting with the state Easy Ride bicycle group Wednesday to review the plans that the green team put in place. So we'll be looking through all those routes. Plus, I'll also mention to them about the Affinity Place. So you hit a good note, right? Wednesday, we'll be meeting with those people. At 450 Pascack Road, there was a clogged drain on the 450 property that our DPW found out was a large stone wedged in the drainage, and they were able to get that out and free up and let that water flow through. So it was a good call on our DPW to go over to take a look at that drain that was sort of on their property. But you have to do what you got to do sometimes. So hopefully that will solve the problem. I'm sure, going forward, we'll be looking at other things. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Sears. Councilman Morgan?
Sure. I don't really have much else to add other than what you've heard here. I don't want to repeat too much, but just to say that, Mr. Kalish, I think those are really great out-of-the-box thinking suggestions with the grooves on the road to alert the traffic. There's a lot that can be done, I think. You're right. There is a safety issue right now. Although the blinking lights are fantastic, they are still, especially with newer drivers or older drivers, they can be very, I don't want to say confusing, but misread. So I think a stoplight would be great there. Probably not the most popular suggestion, but I'm going to say it. I think it would be a good idea. Safety in my book trumps everything, even convenience. So I like that, and I will partner with anyone here if you want to move it forward. So we can discuss that maybe as a team, writing something, just being a little bit more of a heavy to make sure that happens. So I will keep that on my radar. The sidewalks is an issue. There are, I can only imagine how difficult it must be, especially as a runner, with no sidewalks. I have walked Colonial, and there's a large part of Colonial that doesn't have a sidewalk, and the road is huge. So, when I had my children in a baby carriage, I would constantly have to go into the street, but I knew I was safe because you could fit so many cars there. I can't imagine what it's like on Vandenberg. So, however, I do agree with Mr. DeSena. I think that it really needs to be the applicant's responsibility to put those sidewalks in. Obviously, it's after the fact, so that's not going to be the case. And us putting sidewalks in may set precedents for future applicants. So there's really, it's like a double-edged sword there. However, I see the need for it. So that I think that requires further discussion and costs, et cetera. The no improvement in the condition of the neighboring home, that is a personal pet peeve of mine, a huge pet peeve. I don't like the zombie houses. I don't like when they're not kept up, or you send something out, the code enforcer goes out, and it's cleaned one time, and then you have that same problem again, it grows, and we're back where we were. So that is something that I'm hoping that when we have somebody in that position, that we'll be able to have updates, meetings, every meeting. It can be maybe on the project tracker, who they have, where they are with certain, what's the word I'm looking for? Certain citations or whatever they've done, what they've done so far with those properties. So that was something I asked for last year, and I would like to see it come to fruition, when we finally have someone in that position. Mrs. Lipnick, the fence was meant to address exactly what you're still seeing. It was something that I personally experienced, almost hitting a child. So, and then walking the area and seeing a child almost get hit too many times in that area. So the fence was the idea to try to stop that from happening. It was a blind spot that they were just shooting out of. But now it seems that you have front row to them doing it just further on down. So hopefully when Mr. Sears meets with the people for the bike route, they can come up with a solution that is amenable to hopefully fix this. If not, maybe we just go back to the police again to see if they come up with another plan. I would hate to say another fence, I really would, but again, safety to me trumps everything. And I do think that parking on one side of the street, I would support that. I've seen the library be pretty difficult. The parking lot is packed, both sides by the lake are packed, and both sides of the street are packed. I do agree it makes for very, very difficult to move through, and then add to that the people who are walking around the lake constantly, and the kids with the bikes, it's safe. There's a safety hazard for sure there. So I get that, and I appreciate your concern there, and I share that. And as far as 450, I have no update. I'm sorry. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Dart, for regarding 450, we're waiting to hear back from the attorney, and so you know, so it's not that there's no communication, it's just a communication that we can't discuss right now. Mr. Kalish, thank you very much for your feedback. It's always greatly appreciated. Sometimes it's hard sitting here to see how it looks to the outside, so it's nice to hear that. I do know, I think if I'm wrong, Sue, we're not supposed to comment on our vote, just so you know. It's under Robert's rules, so just so you're aware. I don't disagree, but at the same time, you know, there are some things we're supposed to adhere by sitting up here. Regarding the DPW, that's great. I know that there's been a tremendous improvement in leaf pickup, and I think it's definitely helped. One issue with leaf pickup, Mr. Mayor, if you could take it back to Mr. Tobo, is that there seems to be a significant problem in town with the new sewer drain covers. And there's, I know on at least 2 locations, there's no opening. I know the new ones are supposed to be safer so no one can ever fall in. But a couple of them were installed, and I think it's just the height of the way they were installed. There's no opening at all. And as soon as there's a very thin layer of leaves, the water is just sitting on top. So I have a couple of addresses I'll send you them so if they could maybe look at it. I don't know what can be done, but I know that there's several elderly residents out there who are on a regular basis cleaning the leaves off the sewer drains in the middle of a storm. So I don't want to see anybody get hurt. You know, but I also think it's, you know, the road, some of them are, there's like a curve, and so I'll send those to you. Mrs. Lipnick, I agree with one side of the road, that would be especially closer to, maybe not all the way down, but closer to the stop sign and going on to Pascack. I think that would be a good idea. So, and then.
I'm sorry.
I can't really, I'm sorry, you can email me.
You know, if somebody could just look at the
Yeah.
place, only because it seems like from Pascack to
Yes,
Devon,
we'll have
it's
somebody.
narrow and then it gets wider.
So I think, my opinion would be that maybe halfway up Finnerty, closer to Pascack, one side parking. I think that would be a good solution, not to impede the library traffic as well. So Vandenberg and Washington is a sore spot for my family. So in 1987 is when the flashing light was actually put there. My immediate family member was killed at that intersection. And the other driver was paralyzed from the neck down. So it's very personal for me. It's actually, so I would love to partner with you on that. I don't know about sidewalks, especially closer to Washington and Pascack. That makes Washington and Vandenberg, that makes me nervous. But please know that that's a very sore spot for my family. And the other family that was involved also, that person was paralyzed. So I will be in full support of looking at some sort of option for that. So that's all I had. Oh, I did have one other thing. The, can you send me the letter from that was the planning board last week? I don't know. That was submitted to the council?
You talking about the garages?
Yes.
That's another meeting.
Okay, fine. That's all I had.
Wow, you hear that?
This, can I make
Come
a
on.
quick
Oh, I'm
comment?
sorry, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I'm
No
sorry. I got
worries,
lost.
no worries.
Sorry, I
I
got
can
lost at the end.
tell you got emotional
Yeah, I
there,
did,
so
sorry.
no worries. I won't repeat what everyone said. I'll just try and supplement with updates that I know that were not previously mentioned. Yeah, again, Mr. Kalish, thank you for your efforts at the county level. What we're trying to do is get a meeting with the county planning board and engineering department, along with our engineer, to try and get everyone in the table and agree, because there's, you know, some of this going on, you know, he said this, and it's not coming to gel. So I've asked them for, you know, a couple meeting dates, and then we'll see, you know, who from the town wants to go, and, you know, try and get this all ironed out. the sidewalks, plenty's been said already. I want to say something, though, not as the mayor, but just as a concerned person. If you think it's dangerous to run where there are no sidewalks, please find somewhere else to run. I don't want that to be a reason for anyone getting hurt. So if at all possible, please try and find somewhere else to run if you can.
Your gig is up. She knows.
Mr. Uteritz, I will try to, Mr. Tovo's not here, obviously. I'll reach out to the DPW tomorrow and see what the status is directly if he's not back tomorrow. And I'll go with them and visit the property, see what's going on, and, report back to you on it. Mrs. Lipnick, thank you for the DPW compliment. They come far and few between, so they do enjoy hearing them, and they do usually have someone watching the meeting, so I'm sure they've heard already. No parking one side of the street. I will ask the police department to have the traffic officer look into it and make a recommendation to the council for an ordinance change if they feel that, one is necessary. As far as 450 Pascack, without the attorney being here, I don't even know if he would have anything publicly to say. But like Mrs. Feeney said, I believe it is being worked on. It's not a forgotten topic. And regarding the drainage, the storm system for the drainage, once the DPW was made aware, they don't worry when it comes to an emergency like that, whose property it's on. They just went in, did what they had to do to alleviate the situation. We can iron out those details later as far as, who's going to be responsible for it ongoing, the property owner, the town, like that. But, they saw it, they took action, and, I'm very happy with that. Stacy, just to comment on something you said, those new storm drains, fortunately, unfortunately, they are to let less debris go downstream from them. So that's the reason for them. I think we're kind of mandated to put those in on any new road work we do. The DPW has mentioned to me that, they're going to have to probably put more money in next year's budget for more cleaning of them because it's an ongoing issue.
I'm sorry.
Mrs. Feeney, can I just address, Mr. Mayor, just two quick things. We could ask for an exemption at a low point of a road, which a lot of these
Right.
places are. If it's a low point of a road, we can ask for an exemption to keep a normal back piece on there. But the
That's the
problem we're
problem.
having is that we're buying we're ordering one size fits all, and they're buying the taller ones, and they're putting, because we've never milled our roads, you're losing that 2-inch opening, because that's the minimum required, is the 2-inch opening. So like what Stacy's saying is when they set the new one on, it's got 0 opening because the road has been raised so high, because we have no curbs left in town because of the sins of the past. So we can buy the right size ones and put them on there and make it a 2-inch opening. We just have to do it. But
The 2-inch opening will alleviate the issue.
correct, because it'll
with
let some flow go in.
I just-
But at a low point of a road, we can ask for an exemption from our water management person can ask for an exemption.
Or maybe just a catch basin so it funnels in somewhere else instead of the sewer getting backed up like that.
No, it's gonna do the same thing, but
If
it's,
gonna
yeah.
turn.
But some of the inlets I've seen through town, when they put the new eco head on it, all you have is the
Yeah.
mouse holes left.
Right.
You don't have that 2-inch full opening, so nothing can flow in there because it's clogged.
Maybe we could do that. I think it's a catch-22, unfortunately, because I'm afraid.
You have to put them in, so it's law.
Mhm.
Right, but I mean, maybe there's something we could do. I don't want the seniors
Put
out
the
there
right ones.
cleaning the storm drains and then,
Right. Mhm.
I mean.
All right, I'll find out from the engineer about both of these things that Mike just mentioned. They should be on top of it. That's why they do the job they do. So I'll reach out to them.
At least we pay for that.
Well, I mean, I just was surprised when I got that call. I just have one other thing regarding Washington Avenue, specifically about and exits and all this stuff. So a resident in town who's related to me had an idea for us to go to Holly Shapizi and Josh Gottheimer with to approach the county is that, so you get off the parkway, you make a right, or you make a left. But a lot of, if anybody's been in Teaneck, you've got the one where you get off and you go this way. And if we were to explore with the Parkway Authority and the state and the whoever we need to going past the exit, coming around, making a loop and coming up to Vandenberg and going that way to
It's in-
alleviate that traffic. I mean, it would probably
It's in the
cost some
master
money.
plan, Stacy.
Yeah, so I think that would be something we could go back and we should explore that with them instead of trying to put a light here, because if we end up doing something at Vandenberg, right, so you're gonna have potentially, not that it's gonna be, I don't know what it's gonna be, I'm not saying I have any answers, a light there and then a light at the Garden State Plaza exit and, the next thing, I mean, that's a bottleneck waiting to happen over a overpass. But maybe if we were to explore doing passing the exit coming up to go up that way, let's bring that back up and see if we can get a meeting with Holly, Josh Gottheimer, and the county and the Garden State Parkway Authority to help alleviate some of that.
In the plan.
We
right?
brought this up 2 years
We talked
ago.
about it.
We were supposed to
We
meet
talked about
and we never met.
So let's work on it. I mean, this would be,
That is on the master plan for the Turnpike Authority to build, but there's a lot of right of way. We have to take down houses and stuff to do that. That's
I
the
think
biggest.
it's, when I looked at the
Really?
plan though, it's one house that's.
It's
but
the two homes on Jackson that have to go
Right,
down.
but I think also maybe there's something else we could do, because if you go down to Teaneck, right, and you get closer to the George Washington
Yeah,
Bridge.
you don't realize how big that loop ramp right
Right, but what I'm
by
saying,
Overpeck Park, yeah.
but what I'm saying is that if you also look at, so you take the concept from Teaneck, but if you look at the Palisades Interstate Parkway, which is also very tight, and it's tight just like the Garden State Parkway is, there's actually two really big turnarounds where you go all the way up, come all the way back, like parallel to exactly where you're getting off, taking less land, and you go up. So we do have that a little bit of a stretch on the other side. I think there's some options that we could.
Yeah, if you go on the
Discuss.
website, you'll see
No,
that
I
there's a
saw
plan,
it.
but
saw
it
it.
takes the two houses that are on the corner.
But
that's
there
all.
could, what I'm saying is maybe we can explore another option, I don't think it's gonna happen in the immediate next 2 years. We're probably talking 5 years out, but I think it's a conversation maybe that's worth starting.
Yeah, and also, about putting the light there, for every person I've heard from who thinks it's a good idea, I also hear from someone who doesn't think it's a good idea and both sides have valid reasons and points. So before I sign that letter, authorizing the Turnpike to go ahead, we're going to have a lot of conversations about the pros and cons of that light.
And, this would keep the consistent flow of traffic, and it would also alleviate, many accidents that happen at the front end. But I think let's take a look at it. It's on the master plan. Let's take a look at it and see what happens. The only thing you can do is start the conversation again and see where it goes. So, and I did just hear from one resident who's watching the council meeting who said her part of the sewer was fixed, but there's another resident out there who needs her sewer fixed.
Okay.
So I'll send you the address.
You send the address, you said?
I'll send the
Okay.
address,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Anybody else have any other comments? I know we don't have the attorney or Mr. Approval of road opening request. Emergency gas road opening permit for 581 Mountain Avenue. Correspondence from John McKinnon, Boswell Engineering, November 24th, 2021. We'll do approve, and then if there's any discussion, motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
I'll second.
Do we want to discuss or we're good?
No, good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. You can notify.
Okay, an ordinance under the chapter 87 of the Code of the Township of Washington setting forth the rate of compensation of the land use administration in said municipality for January 21st to January 20, 2021 to March 20, 2021. Motion to introduce and pass ordinance number 21-17 at first reading by title. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
do we want to discuss?
I'd like to know who this person will be.
I'm sorry. Unfortunately, Bob's not here. He did want to explain this to the council.
You know what, actually, we're just reading this, let's get to the next one and then we'll discuss, sorry.
Okay.
Is that okay? I mean, it's my mistake, it's nobody else's. All in favor? Aye.
No.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Normally, there is a discussion on introduction though.
Right,
just so
sorry, it's
you
just
know.
introduction.
It's usually you do the hearing.
It's my fault. Resolution number 21-337, authorizing publication of ordinance number 21-17 and schedule a public hearing. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Can we discuss now?
No, you really shouldn't be discussing, it's just an introduction, it's
Okay,
the
first
first
reading by
reading
Bob.
is the next time, and then
All right,
everybody.
So my
well, Bob will discuss it then further at the
Or
next
if you
meeting.
have questions prior to the meeting, please email Mr. Tobo.
Yes.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Nay.
Councilman Cassio, where do you stand on that? I didn't
Was
hear
it aye?
your voice.
He said aye.
Yes?
Yes.
Thank you, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
It's all right.
Individual resolutions. Resolution number 21-338, 2021 transfer resolution. May I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second. Do we want to discuss?
Yes, please.
Okay.
The shortage in the DPW, Mr. Mayor, is that because of the leaves?
DMF overtime?
Yes.
No, that is mostly because of the storms we've had and the overtime.
So is any of that recoverable through?
Yes, we're trying to recover, but for now, we have to make the outlay.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have this evening.
Okay. Anybody else?
What is the fire department miscellaneous transfer out, $850?
That's where we're taking the money from.
Do we know where?
Can we fix the resolutions from now on and make them DPW since we did change it?
Yeah, I noticed that also.
I mean, it's like, we only did it like 8 months ago. I mean, come on.
It's just because they're using the form
All
template.
habits die hard sometimes.
I will make a note for you.
Anybody else have any other questions? Sue, roll call, please.
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Following items have been determined to the unanimous consent of council and will be enacted in one motion. Should any item require independent consideration, any council member may have such item removed from the consent agenda. Does anyone want to have any of the below items removed from discussion prior to consent agenda approval?
3-9, please.
Okay. Resolution number 21-340, authorized refund of recreation fees 2021 basketball, grades 3 to 4, boys Roberta Kenyon in the amount not to exceed $130. Resolution number 21-341, authorized ACH refunds for online property tax sale bidders deposits in the amount not to exceed $33,711. Resolution number 21-342, authorized refund of overpayment of Q4 2021 real estate taxes, block 4508, lot 54, 164 Hickory, Parent Accord Logic, in not the amount not to exceed $2,375.24. Resolution number 21-343, authorized refund of engineering escrow and performance guarantee, block 4416, lot 51, 272 Hickory Street, Chen Bonduc, in the amount not to exceed $1,000. Resolution number 21-344, authorized tax collector to cancel any current tax liability and future tax bills and refund overpayment of Q4 property taxes for 237 Woodfield Road, block 304L2, lot 25, to Wells Fargo Bank in the amount not to exceed $3,465.48. Resolution number 21-345, authorized refund of recreation fees 2021-2022 travel basketball girls Aileen German in the amount not to exceed $145. Motion to approve consent agenda resolution.
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 21-339, authorized payment of bills November 4th, 2021 to December 1st, 2021. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I'll do my best to answer the questions.
Just let us know what page you're on, Mike.
Page 1, please, of the purchase order listing by PO number.
Okay.
We paid Lurch Rinsey Higgins $7,500 for anticipation notes. What did they have to do with the anticipation notes? That's usually handled by Mr. Meinfeld, isn't it, Mr. Mayor?
You're on
I know you
Looking at
said,
this, Mike?
you said
Which list
by
are you
purchase
on?
order number?
I'm sorry, page 3, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on
I
like-
skipped the first 2 pages, I'm sorry.
No worries,
Okay.
no worries.
It's page 3.
I cannot answer that one, Mike. I'll have to have someone get back to you on that one.
The biggest one, the last one I have is on page. Hold on.
Actually, I just have one since on page 4, Town Communications, that money, the maintenance agreement for the car cameras, that's a hard cost every year, so.
That's correct, yes. I mean, I should maybe take that back, since we just put all new car cameras in. They may come with the first year or two, so I'll ask either the chief or Bob to.
Because I know that was in the capital.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if it is, we have to pay for it, it is.
It's been such a long time that it's been an annual thing, so I answered a little too quick, but since they're new, they may come with a year or two.
Okay. So we're gonna take that one off? Is that okay?
Well, I'd rather, if you give me the authority
Yeah,
to
sure.
pay it, and then we'll get back to you with, and obviously we'll pull it because I don't know if this is billed in advance or
Yeah.
not, so.
No, that sounds like a good plan. Everybody okay with that?
Mhm.
My last question, Mrs. Feeney, was on page 2. We're paying TechCon another $313,000 and change. I'm just, I mean, the building is still not weather tight, and we haven't even, and we've almost given them all their money, based on the records provided by Mr.
I
Tovo.
don't see 13,000.
How are we, where are we? Because, we're not even weather tight yet. I mean, as we speak, the wind is howling through the building. The site work is not complete. And this 313, there was about $580,000 left, which leaves less than $200 and something thousand. There is millions of dollars worth of work left in that building. I don't know how we're upside down in this. I'm a little concerned, because I know it's my last day. You're going to hear me on the dais complain about it, but it is not going to be done on time and on budget. And I will make that statement now, and I hope you guys could do it and get it done on time and budget, because I think we're looking at a huge overrun. If he's billing us $313,000 for the month of November, with the amount of work that's left in that building and site, we're in trouble.
Contractual.
I attended the last meeting. The new date now to be more or less done, except for some of the outside weather dependent, is in February. They are waiting for something relatively inexpensive, but supply chain issues, don't know expensive versus inexpensive, that could hold some of the outside work up a little. I know they did speak about making the building, weather tight. So I believe there's another meeting tomorrow. I will raise your questions, Mike.
I mean, the stairs and the elevator aren't even in yet, Mr. Mayor. Those are big ticket items with long lead items.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, so there's no way that elevator is going to be,
Did he procure the elevator early?
Yeah, the elevator parts are inside the building, because I saw them myself when I was at the
but the
meeting.
elevator's not there.
It's not assembled in a shaft. Yeah, I mean, I'm using lay terms.
Yeah, but the stair towers aren't in.
I will ask the questions tomorrow. I'd be happy to.
The windows, the doors and windows aren't even in the building yet. I mean, and if the numbers are correct, what was provided to us at the last meeting, I mean, he is so far ahead of us that I'm nervous that this guy, if he walks right now, we're in deep trouble.
Do we have any indication he's gonna walk?
No.
Just because, do you know something we don't know?
We're so far backwards on this. It's scary.
Okay. Do you have anything else I'm just looking for some context.
There's no way he's going to finish. I mean, depending on Mother Nature, I mean, the site work he has left is a lot. I mean, he's
Well,
got,
outside of Mother Nature, which I'm with you on that one 110%. She hasn't been very friendly lately.
but
So-
the building has still got a ton of work inside. I mean, the building is, it's not done. There's nothing done in the building. I mean, it just, There's nothing done inside that building.
Yeah, the garage doors are in.
Can you-
About, yeah.
The baby
No, I'm
was
just
around,
saying,
yeah.
that's what Emma just said. Look, mommy, the doors are in. I said, okay.
Can we verify that the apron is it going to be concrete or is it going to be macadam?
It better be concrete.
That did come up at the last meeting, and what was said preliminarily, and they were going to check and have updates for tomorrow's meeting. Originally, it was going to be macadam because of budget constraints. However, they said that they didn't think it was going to be that much of a difference, and so they are looking at doing concrete. They thought it would be less than a $20,000 difference, but they're supposed to confirm that for tomorrow's meeting.
That's going to be a big delay.
That's a huge building.
Well, again, they said if it's concrete, it takes the weather part out of it.
How?
I'm listening in more as a lay person.
Yeah, I'm just, Mr. Mayor, it's your headache. I will help you with that headache as much as I can, but it is nowhere near going to be done in February.
Yeah, but isn't it all of our headache?
Yes, that's why I'm saying I'll help him with his headache as much as possible if he'd let me, but
It's not just his headache. I
no,
think
it's all, it's
our
every
headache.
township resident's headache because it's going to hit us in the taxes. That's the only other question. I'm just concerned
It's up tomorrow.
this payment should be held back. If Mr. Sears is there and if we have $200,000 left in the total amount we owe him out of the $6.3 million or whatever the final number is, this payment should not be made. And that's all I'll say.
There is a tremendous amount of work that has to be done.
A tremendous amount.
Well, again, and others may correct me. I believe upon the architect signing off that they did the work that they are billing for, we probably have to pay them because they don't get paid in advance. They get paid for work done. And so, but I'll bring all this up at tomorrow's meeting.
I'm just basing my numbers off what Mr. Tovo provided us is what was paid to date out of the $6 million. And it only left like $500,000 left to be paid to date. There is more than $500,000 worth of work out there to be done. So if that number was correct, what Mr. Tovo provided us, I'm just nervous that we're upside down on it.
Okay. I mean, offhand, I don't remember what he provided, but again, I will bring it all up tomorrow.
I haven't seen the contract, but doesn't it state that in phases, like when the houses are being built after phase one?
Well,
No,
They
it's
pay
all-
this.
well, it says work is done,
Right.
not necessarily phases.
It's progress billing.
Right.
Right, so they should be where they said they were. This should have been I mean, I think
I mean,
somebody overseeing this would see.
no one has spoken
Right.
about it going over budget in the meetings, but I'll raise the questions. That's why I sit in on the meeting.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
happy to
think
do
the
it.
other concern is one of the new tower ladders coming because the new tower ladder is not going to fit in the old firehouse. And if the new firehouse is not ready,
Mhm.
we're going to have to hold off on having that tower ladder delivered.
The company that's doing the manufacturing, they're aware of the situation we're in and, will work with us as far as delivery dates. However, there are also issues with the existing ladder truck that I've been made aware of. So,
Yeah.
we're running tight here, but
Will they be addressed?
I'd rather not say we're doing budget here, not.
That's all I have, Mrs. Feeny, on my resolution 21-339. I don't know if anybody else has any.
No, I only have the maintenance for the cars. Anybody else have any items?
One question, Mr. Mayor, does Boswell attend those meetings?
A representative from Boswell is almost always there.
Almost there. Has he,
Rob Connolly attend those meetings?
Yeah, he attends all, he runs them.
do they write a synopsis of where we stand or what we're at this point?
That would be more the architect's job, Tom, not the engineer.
Oh, because looking at it
I
from,
would ask that the council moving forward, like we asked last year, receives a copy of those meeting minutes, which I know we were supposed to get, but we haven't received. But Tom, I think going forward, I think you should have a copy. of the
what
council.
I'm concerned is if the engineer is there, how do we know what he's looking at, what we're paying him for?
Again, that's
he
the
would-
architect's job. It's the engineer's job just to, chime in on the the site planning and things that they do, but not as far as the progress or anything on the building or the project.
Okay, so no, he wouldn't make comments that,
Not in
On the
those
site
areas.
work, he would,
Right.
she would, whoever, I don't
Yeah.
know who the
It
representative is.
happens to be a he, but yes, comment well taken.
thank you.
Maybe, Mr. Mayor, for the last payment, we would hold off till get a little more information on where we stand. Any of
I
that?
almost feel
Again,
doing it for this payment.
I would
No, it's
ask
not
that
I
you,
am talking about this payment.
I would ask that you approve it and leave it up to my discretion, because I don't know the legal ramifications. The forms have been filled out that the work was done. They're supposed to be paid timely upon the work being done. If we hold that up, I just don't know the legal ramifications, but you have my word, I will ask the questions before I would release the payment. And by that, I'll ask the questions both from a standpoint of where we're headed with this, and I'll get Ken on the phone tomorrow and ask him the legal ramifications of holding the payment.
Can we start getting summaries of where they are?
I made a note,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, Sue, roll call?
Councilman Casio,
No.
Councilman DeSena,
No,
Councilwoman Morgan,
I am going to say yes, because I am going to trust that the mayor is going to get what you need to get done, so yes.
Councilman Sears,
I will go along with Councilwoman Morgan, yes.
Council President Feeney.
I will go along with the mayor right now, and then we'll get the answers from him. So yes.
Could we get a bottom drop dead number on what's left and what they plan on doing going forward? What's left that has to be built, and do we have sufficient enough funds to cover what they have to do? I mean, if they got to switch from macadam to concrete, what's that involved? When you take a look inside the building, it doesn't, I got to agree with Mike, it doesn't look like much being done in there. But we should know if he's approving that much money, we only have this left, how much work do they actually have done? And is there enough money to cover that?
We're certainly at the point where I would think that they should know those answers, and I'm happy to ask the questions on behalf of everyone up here and the taxpayers.
Tom, when you talk about changing from macadam to
Excuse me?
when you talk about changing from macadam to concrete, that should already be in the plan. It shouldn't even have to be a change. And
how
the
can we
cost-
park a fire truck
the
on
cost-
asphalt?
the cost should have been.
Well, the old firehouse is up. That's
I know, but go.
The cost should have been built in, right? So we know what we're putting in, we know how much it's gonna cost, and we know if we're gonna pay for that. It shouldn't be, okay, well, we're at the last minute. Well, we really need concrete, but we're gonna put macadam, but we really can't afford the concrete, so we have to put macadam in. That's not how a project should be handled, right?
Right,
That doesn't
and
make sense.
that was my
That doesn't make
question.
sense to me. I mean-
Because I heard through the grapevine, they were
So,
debating macadam to concrete.
Well,
I'm kind of like baffled on,
macadam is what's in the plan
right,
that was approved by,
well, I'm just
the
saying.
council at that time. And so, it's not like this just happened willy-nilly. It's in the plan. Now, in the last meeting, someone said, hey, why don't we look at concrete again because of the price difference and the weather situation that we're facing?
That's okay, as long as whatever was in the plan, that's what we're getting, and that's what is approved.
Well,
When we start changing stuff at the end, then I get a little concerned,
Well, if we're changing it maybe for the better at a good cost,
Well, I'm still, okay, well, I want to know why,
Yeah.
why we're doing it, that's all.
Is the reason too because of the price of the materials and the cabinet's gotten to be almost as expensive as the concrete? Is that what they're saying?
they're saying the price has narrowed, yes, between the two.
it just seems like at the last moment, the changes are starting to hit us, and I'm concerned as what other changes are coming down the pipe.
Well, we can't, we can't do a lot of what ifs. I mean, if they're saying that
Well,
the price is narrowed with the.
Well, no, that I
Yeah.
understand. I just want to make sure we have enough money
Right. budgetary. to do it.
Since it's budgetary, I can report that and the, some appliances that were going to get moved they're also researching new ones. But the total price difference for the appliances is less than 10,000. So they're looking to see, is there money in the project for that? And if so, because upon looking at the appliances, we took a look at them last meeting. It really, we shouldn't move them. We should start with new ones.
But Mr. Mayor, you just said like we looked at the macadam and the concrete. When we approved the rendering, there was no site work shown on that rendering.
Mhm.
So, you keep saying that this council and the previous council approved all this minutia in the final design. We did not approve the minutia in the final design. That was done by the committee that oversaw the project.
Yeah, but that was
We
in the
oversaw the
plans.
rendering, but we didn't see that the aprons were, we didn't even see the aprons in the rendering. It just showed a pretty picture.
Yeah,
And
but-
then they did finalize plans that this council never, we could ask for them, but we didn't approve those plans because we didn't get a presentation of where the curbs are going and what Washington Avenue is going to look like, what Boswell designed. Because when Mr. Connolly was here, we accepted the rendering. Boswell hadn't even been hired at that point. So we didn't have the site work. So we didn't know that it was asphalt or concrete. So when you say
Okay.
we approve that, I take
I'll take that
exception
back.
to that.
I'll take that back, but I'm very happy to hear you say that you did approve the building.
The rendering, absolutely. And
Okay.
the rendering, but we didn't
See, but
approve.
I
but we didn't
have to
approve
disagree
every.
with you, because at the meeting where you guys looked at the 3 plans, you had specific questions regarding that this room is going to go upstairs versus downstairs for this specific use, along with Mr. Allman and Councilman Bruno, and you talked about the physical
Yes.
locations of those rooms. So you didn't just.
But we had those
You
to look
didn't-
at, Mrs.
But you
Feeney.
didn't, but see, the thing is, when you say rendering,
It was a rendering.
but it's not.
It
If
was.
you knew
It wasn't
where-
the final.
if You knew where, it was the final, because that's
No,
what
it
you're.
wasn't the final.
Can I put my Ken hat on? You're getting way out of the
Yeah.
budgetary part of it.
Yeah.
So Ken would probably be going bananas right now if he were here.
Okay, just wait 1 second. So the thing is, a rendering is like a drawing of the outside of a building.
And that's what we
And
approved.
no, it's not, because if it was, then how could you ask about the specific locations of the rooms that were inside the building? And when I downloaded the plans,
Yes, they did have
when
that.
I downloaded the plans, you didn't just have a rendering, you had a full schematic of the layout of the floors.
A schematic, not a final
But that's
plan.
not a rendering.
Yes, it is. But
Okay,
it's a-
I'm sorry, but
it's a
if you
conceptual
look
layout.
up the word rendering
Yes.
versus the word like a floor plan schematic,
It's a schematic for a reason. It is not a final plan.
but it was the final plan
No, it
because
wasn't.
that's what's being built.
No, it's not.
Yeah, actually it is.
No, it's not.
All right,
Yeah.
let's keep it moving.
It
It's 7
actually,
days
I will be
versus 5
more,
days.
so the next
Maybe.
meeting, could you please put on there the minutes from that meeting where the final plan was approved, and they talked about the specific locations
That
of
is
the
fine, Mrs.
rooms,
Feeney, but
and they actually did have the physical drawing of the actual building that's being built today.
we did not have the physical drawing. We had a schematic. Just like Boswell wasn't even hired to do the site plan at that
Thank you
point in
very
time.
much.
So we couldn't approve the site plan because they weren't even on board yet for the project.
Adjournment to conference agenda. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's take a 5-minute break. All right, project tracker, Mr. Tovo's not here, so I will just push it unless the mayor has anything.
Well, for the public's sake, I'd like to just read through it real quick, and if you have any
Yeah.
questions, you can interrupt me, but
Sure.
I'll go as quickly as possible. The 2021 road program I referenced in my comments, 2020 is done. Intersection, the bid documents are being released soon, and the county still thinks they'll be starting the work in the spring. The new ladder truck is in the shop being built. Garbage trucks, I said in my opening remarks. The breathalyzer for the police been here, I think, as long as I've been mayor. It's waiting on final approval for a state contract. The radio system upgrade. Radios have been received by the local vendor, and they're working on the programming. In-car video, as I said in my remarks, complete and in service. Kitchen renovation completed. Body-worn cameras, it says ordered here, but I said they are in service. The
Are there
ESP.
tasers here, Mr. Mayor?
I don't
Or
honestly
is that
know,
what's
but
waiting?
if they are, I believe we're still in training for those. The emergency services building exhaust system, the system has been ordered. The gear washer for the fire department received and in use. Scott Packs in service. Leaf vac for DPW in service. The forklift attachment in use. Renovations to the DMF building. I think we probably said it last meeting, but the soil remediation is complete. Emergency services building.
Mr. Mayor, we were supposed to receive the renderings tonight on the new location.
I apologize if they were. I will make a note to get them out ASAP. Emergency service building, we just spoke at length. The library renovations are going through an architect's review. Police evidence room, the work has been completed. The outlets on the utility poles has been completed. The library HVAC system, one of them is awaiting for a quote. Stormwater GIF mapping, the engineers are working on that. The lightning detection system, the new one, is operational and in use. The building control system, the contract's been awarded. The paving of the county roads, the shared service agreement between the town and county has been executed. We're awaiting the review of the ADA curb cuts by the county. And last but not least, our solid waste bid package. The bid opening is scheduled for December 14th. So that completes the tracker. So thank you for indulging me. Hopefully the public got something out of that.
Mr. Mayor, does the police department know that if somebody hits the emergency open button on the town hall when nobody's here, it opens the door?
Say that once more, Mike. I'm sorry.
If the doors lock automatically, right? But if somebody comes and pushes the button for the handicap assist button, it will open the door at any time.
Yes, they're aware of that. They are working on a change for it. Yes.
Pete, regarding the paving of the county roads.
Yes.
Do you know why the section of Ridgewood Road between Pascack and where it turns going south, why that isn't done in front of Bakari Grove? Bakari. From the light to Ridgewood Boulevard North. That one section is not done.
okay.
Do you know why that's not done? Why it wasn't done?
I do not offhand, Steve, but happy to ask.
Would you find
It
out?
was all
Because that is
supposed to be
part.
done, Steve.
Huh?
It was all supposed to be done, that's all.
Well, everything is done except, what's that? 300 feet?
It was supposed to be done from Pascack all the way to the Ridgewood border, and it's not done.
No. We're just talking about Ridgewood Road, right?
Yeah.
It turns just a little part, that little part has not been done. So I wonder why 300 feet is not done. Because that is the crummiest 300 feet of road in Washington Township.
Okay. I will find out.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
So library renovations, that's supposed to start the beginning of 2025. It's supposed to start? Or is that still on hold? It says architect review.
It probably has also been slowed down a little because the director is out on maternity leave.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Anybody else have any comments on the project tracker? I will tell you, I was witness to the body cameras. They're nice, they're lovely. They look good.
But good when you need them.
Nice accessory, yes. Okay. All right, best practices survey. Can you take this, Mr. Mayor, or do we need to wait for?
Other than this cover letter that says has been successfully submitted, I don't recall why it's even on here. I apologize. So
We'll
if you,
move this to.
No, it needs to be on.
No, we'll move this to next week.
No, it needs to
probably
be on.
time sensitive.
It is time sensitive
Okay,
and
so
per
I-
the state, all it is basically showing you what the survey was that was completed by the CFO in
Oh, okay.
conjunction with possibly the administrator or anybody else involved. And that you have it where we've been scored, what our score will be. And it's just basically a piece of information just to, kind of follow up what we've been doing.
I think some of these, we need to address for next year.
Is there a particular number that says we're good or
If you
bad?
go down to the last page.
We got an
Last
18.5 where
Yeah.
if we got under 15, they'd start to cut our aid.
Gotcha.
Well, we're very close to getting our aid cut. So
We're never, I don't think, really super over the top. We're always within 18 to 21.
Well, let's see, the scores are 0 to 6, 7 to 10, 11 to 14, and then 15 plus. So it doesn't actually tell us, I'd like to know what could you actually get?
it does tell you, we
Well-
got an 18.5.
No.
You mean we answered yes to all of them?
If we answered yes to all of them, what would we, how far are we from this is
No,
the
we're
best of you all?
we're getting all.
Yeah.
No, I know, but I wanted to say, is it 50, is it 40?
Oh,
Is it-
Right, that's what I was trying to
Yeah.
figure out. Okay, thank you.
And I didn't, I even Googled it and I didn't get
So-
it.
No, it doesn't tell you.
So Sue, what's the time sensitive part? Just that we just said what we just said?
Yes.
Okay.
It just has to be on the agenda that you
Okay.
have to have recognized it. It's not anything that needs to be voted on or anything of that nature, but
Okay.
that's been brought to the council's attention, and I told them I would bring it on this agenda.
Okay.
So everybody's seen it, right?
Yep.
We're all acknowledging
That-
receipt of it.
and-
Yes. Thank you very
Thank you,
much. I
Sue, for
truly
filling
appreciate
in
that.
Bob's absence in that area.
Okay, next thing is LFN 2021-2024.
Right,
Yeah.
where it's the current 2022
Yes.
budget matter, just showing, yes,
Yes, yeah.
just showing that's extended again.
Okay, yay. Lovely, same as always.
Mhm.
Sue, pay to play.
Okay, Claudia, you want to do budget process, or you're not ready for that? You skipped it.
Well,
Anyway,
we could, no, it's okay. So I made some phone calls and I was gonna type something up and I ended up with a work emergency today. I didn't get to. I spoke to some of the other Faulkner,
Municipalities.
municipalities, thank you, I was waiting for that word.
Mhm.
So they're doing more of a budget committee. So I would like to, push that discussion forward. So maybe we can move our process along a little smoother and do a budget committee and have meetings where we take questions from the council, where they review that section, let them know when it's coming up, take it
How many public
offline.
members are you putting on this committee?
It would be 2 council members, so that we would not have to record, that's what the other towns are doing.
And how many public? Because, like Ridgewood and Riverville
haven't had
has
that-
public.
They do, but a few of them have recommended having more of it be the internal conversations with the CFO, the mayor, the administrator, the department heads, and any members from that
So
department that need
no
to.
member of the public. then.
That hasn't been discussed yet, but I would like to, I'm more looking at the time, because it seems to be, we're one of the only, if not the only, reviewing line by line. Not at a, more of a grouping level, department level.
Right.
And I think that a lot of the items are standard, or it is what it is, it's contractual. And obviously, questions from the council are 100% warranted, and I think that if we could do a little homework ahead of time, prep the questions, take them back, get the questions back to the council. If additional meetings are required, go from there. It's just my suggestion.
I like it.
So,
Anything to streamline it and make it more productive.
so I would like to participate in the committee for the first year and take constructive criticism back and see what we can do. I don't know if anybody has another opinion.
I think it's a great idea.
Well, I like line by line, because I can read a lot of stuff out that we don't need. okay, or stuff we do need. So I'm a fan of it. And I'll be honest with you, the way the last year's budget was run, I have to say it was run very poorly. Because we would go in, we'd meet for an hour and then leave, and meet again for another day, another hour, and leave, and then do 2 hours and leave. You know, if we're gonna do it, let's do it right. I'm committed to spend as long as it takes a night, 6 hours, 5 hours, 4 hours, a weekend to do it.
So I did put
Doing
that out there
doing
several times.
Doing
And I got
it,
told-
excuse me, doing it
I'm sorry,
piecemeal,
but you paused.
Doing
If
it-
you weren't
doing
finished
it
to say,
piecemeal.
Excuse me, I'd like to continue.
doing it piecemeal like that does not work.
Well, I didn't say
It does not
piecemeal.
work. Well, that was piecemeal the way it was. So that's why it took a long period of time to do. Months, shouldn't take that long. 2 months at best, but you have to be dedicated to put the time in to do it.
Councilwoman
That's the
Morgan,
thing.
correct me if I'm wrong, but
That's
the
the
prior
thing.
year took longer than 2 months also, correct?
Yes.
So
Yes,
it
it did.
wasn't just last year, and actually when I went back and reviewed other years' meetings, it took 4 months prior to
Sure.
Councilwoman Morgan and I getting you coming
Sure.
on the council. It did.
We can find that. We can see when it was finalized, absolutely.
Okay, moving on.
Councilman Sears, any comments?
No.
Okay. So, applications for zoning board will be accepted through December 27th this year. There are 2 seats up. So the deadline will be midnight on December 27th. So anyone who's interested for zoning board, I believe the information will be up on the website, correct, Sue?
Mhm. Yes, it'll put out there.
And, okay. That's normal, it's about this time to do that,
I
so.
just want to make sure it's clear to the public, because midnight of the 27th, I think, is the morning of the 27th. Do you mean 11:59
How about
that
we say
night?
4:30? How about we say 4:30 or?
And we'll say, how about we say 11:59 PM on 12/27?
Okay, just so it's clear to the public
Okay.
that they have that day.
Okay. If anybody has any questions or what needs to be submitted, please, you can email the clerk or any of us on the council. To pay to play.
I just want to let you know, I have put out pay-to-play letters to the sitting professionals, just to gather, their information. I don't know if there's anything else anybody would, like to see, but the direction I've been advised is to stay pretty much the same trail. I've sent out everything. I've already gotten about 4 or 5 of them back with their documents and all their certifications. Just awaiting, and then at reorganization, you can do what you'd like to do, appointing, not appointing, or whatever. Since this council's never really done RFQs, RFPs, the non-fair and open seems to be the way to do with the contributions and, that nature. So that's just to let you know, that's where I've been. Trying to get ahead of the game a little bit.
Okay, and anybody have any questions on pay to play?
Nope.
Okay. The next one is reorg meeting date will be January 3rd, 2022.
As long as everybody is okay with that, so I can advertise it.
Yeah, I'm okay with
good.
Me too.
Should someone check with the councilwoman-elect before you advertise it?
Would you like to do this?
I'm sorry.
You know what, I'll
Yeah,
find
I can
out.
reach out to her just to make sure.
Okay.
Councilman Cassie, are you all right with that Monday? It's a Monday night.
Yeah, it's a regular
Councilman
meeting.
Sears, you good?
I'm positive.
Okay. All right, so we'll double check with Tracy.
That was our closed session this evening. Anybody have anything else? Any of the items on the motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.